Look, I got a new hookup. I'm hoping everything is working right. Today's episode fin be lit. I mean fire. I mean on point. Look, we're going to talk about the latest in the NFL updates. We got the 49ers news that's going down. It's popping. We got some rumors going on. We got a coaching carousel going down right now. Who's going to be the defensive coordinator of San Francisco 49ers? And my favorite time of the year, it's mock draft Monday, almost better than a victory Monday, because now we're going to figure out who's going to be the next 49ers. Stick around right here on the WayneBreezie Show. Let's have a blast, y'all.
So bright that we shine. All we do is the Niners. Ready, go, let us find us. So faithful to the bay. I be sipping gold bar, whiskey on the rocks, and a 24 karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping non-stop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. WayneBreezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. WayneBreezie, the 49 preacher. We so bright that we shine.
What's good, everybody? It is officially Monday. Wait, I got a couple of applause sounds. I like that one. You got cheers in the background. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all can hear the sound effects. I'm trying to hook stuff up. You know, I try to get myself right. Listen, when I tell you Vegas took me out. Vegas took me all the way out. It took me out financially. It took me out physically. It took me out emotionally. It took me out. I don't know if I'll ever go back to Las Vegas again. I don't gamble, so there's no point me going there. The only time I go to Vegas is to support the San Francisco 49ers. So look, Vegas took me out. I was under the weather with the flu, the FUL-enza, whatever you want to call it. I was coming down with some. I felt it in my bones on last Wednesday. I was on the Steph show. And then Thursday I couldn't move. I was stuck like Chuck. So look, I'm back. I hope I'm not back to full strength, so you probably won't see a whole bunch of shows. But I tell you what, there will be no harm, no foul today at 4 p.m. Man, clap it up for my brother Mike. He's back in town. Whew. All right, so we'll see what's gonna go down, with that. And look, I'm just excited to be back. Shout out to everybody from the Breezy Bunch crew. I see you guys. You guys have been here early. Peachy in here with the good morning, afternoon, Breezy, and my faithful queens and kings. But the hashtags in there. I appreciate you, Peachy. Nick Nice 21 in the building. My man Manly Shavers in the building. Good morning to the Niner faithful. Shout out you shouting out people out there in the chat. What's good, man? What's going on? I see my brother Kylie in there, my brother Fernando in there. Prince, what's going on, dog? I see you. Prince says, Richard Sherman should be our defensive coordinator. Period. End of discussion. We could drop the bomb on that one. I don't know how I feel about that, but listen, I would love it. Excuse me. Let me rephrase what I just said. I don't know how the 49ers feel about that, but I'd love it. I'd buy it. I'd sign up, rent it. You could put me on a subscription. You could, however you want to. Something about Richard Sherman I just like. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's the fact that he talked trash and backed it up on one team, and then came to the Niners and did the same thing until the injuries kind of started taking him over. And he's just a great football mind. You know what I mean? Very smart young man when it comes to football and things like that. And I just, he's very well respected around the NFL. And I don't think there was another person out there going harder for the 49ers than Richard Sherman. I mean, he was going hard. I mean, you name it. He was going hard. So, look, I would love that, honestly, if Richard Sherman. I just don't know if the Niners or if even Richard Sherman is feeling that. I don't know. Richard Sherman, I think he made a comment or something about, he don't. I don't know if he sees himself coaching, maybe mentoring. I don't know about coaching. Brandy, what's going on, Bree? Good afternoon. What's good? Oh, we got somebody, my man Sonny. You know what I'm saying? Sonny over on Facebook. Let's show Sonny some love. He says, look, almost 1 week after the loss, I'm ready to turn the page. Yeah. Just to on your first part, man. I'm ready to turn the page too. It's time to move on, He says, here's my list of to do for the next year. What is yours? All right, number one, hire defensive coordinator. That is a run defense moving forward. I like this. I had to put the word moving in there because I thought that was funny. He says, we need to be better on the run or against the run. He says, I would like that grumpy coach that coached Brady. I'm going to say his name. Hire an offense coordinator that Kyle can trust so he can bounce ideas too, like what should we do in overtime? Or how many times should we run the ball in third versus passing? Number three, call more running plays for Brock, just enough so that the other team here we go. Just enough so that the other. I got to check out your next message. It must have cut you off, but you said some things, some good things, Sonny. So thank you for that. I appreciate you over there. Snoop, what's going on? Colin, I see you in the building. Don't bother me. What's good, fam? Yeah, number one, you got to hire defense coordinators first and foremost. That's why we're going to talk about it today because, there's some things that's going to be going down in the NFL, and the Niners don't want to head to the NFL Combine defensive coordinator less. So, yeah, they need to get a defensive coordinator. Now, who they get in there is going to be interesting, and we're going to play a little game about that. I got 5 coordinators. Now, I do know one of those coordinators are currently under contract, and we'll see what happens. There's a possibility that he's let go. I don't see why they may let him go, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens. That'll be Brian Flores. I think it's the Vikings DC that he's currently under contract. He's not like a free out there, but anything can happen. Coaches can get traded. Things can happen. We'll see what happens. Number 2, hire offensive coordinator. Listen, you don't know how much I would love for the 49ers to gather themselves a coordinator that Kyle Shanahan. It's not just about trusting, right? Trust is part of it because I think he trusts Mike McDaniel, but I still think Mike was young. For some reason, I felt like he just took over from Mike as well because there were times where I felt like Mike, who's probably the illest when it comes to run game coordinating, and that's the difference, right? Like we get mad at Kyle Shanahan for not calling these run plays, and he's missing like that run game guru, with Mike McDaniel, like would call up these crazy runs and things like that, or these weird looks when it came to running the ball. Hence why Miami ran the ball so well this year. But look, he's gone. But yeah, I think he needs to get somebody in there at least for that, right? Something like that for Kyle Shanahan. Something, because Kyle ain't got it when it comes to running. And you said it, especially on third down. And then, last but not least, the Niners just got to get their stuff together, man. Like, wait, I got one of those sounds. They just got to get, where does it go? Where is it at? Hold on, bear with me. I'm getting it right. The Niners just got to get their like, that's what it comes down to. Like, they got to get their together. Like, that's it. They just got to get it together. And they will. I guarantee you. Like, look, by no means do I want the San Francisco 49ers to fire Kyle Shanahan. I don't think that wouldn't be a good idea, period. It's not a good idea. But they gotta take this lump, this loss, whatever you want to call it. They gotta take it, and they gotta do the number one L that you get from an L is called learning from it. They gotta learn from this loss. I thought they learned from the last loss. Unfortunately, they didn't. Listen, guys, make sure you hit that like button. Okay, man, hit the thumbs up button for your boy Breezy one time for your mind. All right, hit that thumbs up button. If you are new to this stream, please subscribe to the channel. If you really love what you see and you want to support the stream, you want to support what's going on over here on the WayneBreezie channel, man, make sure you guys go ahead and become a member of that Breezy Bunch crew for the low. All right, so just hit it on the low, man. Just hit that button, man. It's only like $1.99 or something like that. You know what I mean? Join the crew, man. The perks are cool. Highlight your name. Your name gets highlighted. It's all cool, man. It's cool, man. I see colors. Colors are dope. Remember that movie Colors with Sean Penn? Colors. Was it Robert Duvall, I believe, was in that as well? Colors. But I appreciate you guys, man. So look, I'm not worried about Kyle Shanahan. I think he needs to fix some things. This is not about Kyle. I think he needs to fix some things for sure. But that's what this whole offseason is going to be about. Like reflecting from this particular past season so that you can be prepared, number one, and be ready to implement the new things in the new season, right? And that's what off season is all about. Like, how do you get better? And not even if you won, you would still try to figure out like how to get better, right? Like, and it is what it is. So 49ers lost, we lost. I'm over the loss. I just don't like talking about the game because the game. I didn't understand the game. I wasn't understanding the game. I didn't understand the game plan. I didn't understand anything. But congratulations again to the Chiefs. Last time I'm going it. Congratulations, Chiefs. Last that shit. All right, here we go. Shout out to my man Nick. What's going on, bro? Nick in the building says, "Yo, Breezy, just bring your A game in the big game." You dig? I could dig it. I could dig it. Speaking of A, Usher brought that A-Town stomp to the Super Bowl. I thought that junk was official, man. Like, we all knew he was gonna close with "Yeah," but the way it was so dope because you had Lil Jon in the crowd, like, and then Luda just came out of nowhere in the Combat Blue, and then it was just so official, yo. I like the Usher performance, man. A lot of people didn't like it. I will say this. That "Yeah" song is super universal, man, because I think everybody, every nation, every creed, every color, every race, they knew the words from "Watch Out, My Outfit's Ridiculous." They just knew everything about that particular song. Usher should have just did "Yeah" for 13 minutes and did some type of remix and remake and remodel or whatever. That would have been fire, but the whole thing was fire to me. So congratulations to Usher, man. Job well done, man, on Super Bowl. Let's get into some NFL news, man. Let's talk about what's going down in the NFL. There are some dates that I want you guys to make yourselves familiar with. All right, starting with February 20th. Okay, February 20th, man. The franchise and transition tag begins. Now, it ends on March 5th. All right, March 5th, 2024, 4 p.m. Everything's Eastern Standard Time, so just get used to things being Eastern Standard Time. I believe it's 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I think, because y'all in the past, right? Y'all in the future. Y'all in the past. We in the future. Got you. So, yeah, you know what I mean. I always get that mixed up. But so that transition franchise tag thing is about to go down, and teams have the ability to place the franchise or the transition tag on a player up into that date, all right? Up into that date, which leads you into February 26th and through March 4th. The NFL Combine starts. Now, the official things don't take off till February 29th. That's when the events happen. All right, now I'm waiting on the NFL to send me my credentials. They send me my credentials. I will try to find my way out to Indianapolis. I should have been out there for the NBA All-Star game. But yeah. Wait, side note, how y'all feel about the NBA All-Star game? They finally brought the East versus West back. Thank God. Dang, like, I don't know why you ever went away from that. What's good, 49er Mini? Yeah, man, I'm still recuperating from the flu. Dion, what's going on, bro? So and shout out to everybody out there that's watching, and a double shout out to everybody out there that's listening to this on the podcast, man. Thank y'all for listening. You can find this on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify Podcasts and all the other podcasting sites that you guys like to listen to your podcasts on. Make sure you guys add this joint to a playlist. Make sure you download it. Make sure you do everything you need to do for podcasts, because I want to see the WayneBreezie Show and the Nitty Gritty Niners Show, which airs every Monday, 7 p.m. during the regular season, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to see those numbers. I want to see those jump up to some of the greatest 49er content creating shows that you guys hear, man. So I'm charging you guys for that, all right? Now, look, the Combine starts in you know, the 26th. The NBA All-Star game was there. I just want to know about the game. I thought the slam dunk Saturday night was dope. The game kind of boring to me, but, you know, congratulations, Dame Dollar, 39 points. I think that's what he finished with. I think Cat had 50 points. God dang. Anyway, no defense. That's what you're going to get. But the score was astronomical. It was like 340 to like 289. It was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But I hope you guys like the NBA All-Star game. It's always a great event. One day, I'm gonna make it to one. Especially, I got a question. Like, and don't listen. Y'all know I'm a Celtics fan. Okay, y'all know I'm a Celtics fan. Don't be mad at me. But why? When the when was the have the has the Boston ever hosted the city of Boston ever hosted an All Star game? I know it was in New York, but how does Indianapolis get it over Boston? Okay. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Jason says he thought that the dunk contest sessions have been trashed. Brown isn't a dunker, but the All-Star game was fire. I disagree. I thought Jaylen Brown brought the slam dunk contest. He was nostalgic. So like his dunks were like how the dunk contest used to be when we grew up watching it. Now we're used to seeing cats fly over mountains and jump through circus flames and hula hoop through tiger lips and things like that. And so we ain't had none of that this year. It was one of those old school slam dunk contests. Like who could be creative but still be fierce with the dunk. I thought Brown was pretty damn good with it. I just thought that kid from the G League was just the dude jumped over Shaq. He just dumped over Shaq. Like that was dope. Curry versus Sabrina. I need more of this. This is what I need more of. I need more of this. But back to Indianapolis and how we even get to the NBA All-Star Games, because we talk about the combine that's going to be in Indianapolis. And I'm telling you right now, if I go out there, man, I'm going to be like with my binoculars. I'm going to be sitting like Bill Belichick. Wait a minute. I just mentioned Bill Belichick's name. Just wanted to put that out there. I'm going to be sitting like Bill Belichick with the binoculars, okay, looking for people for the front the offensive line. Like I'm just gonna focus on offensive line. I don't care. So the only position I care about is the front on the offense. I care about all of them from the left tackle to the right tackle. That's 5 positions. I need 5 picks. Okay, 5 picks. Not taking a shot at anybody from the 49ers. I just want 5 offensive linemen from this draft. This offensive line pool is deep, like the mines of Monota. Like deep. All right, deep. So look, yes, that's kind of like where I am with this. All right, so let's that's kind of how I'm looking at the NFL Combine, and I want to see the wide receivers, want to see the quarterbacks throw, all that good stuff. The best part is the DBs. And that's the best part, right? Watching the DBs, how fast can they run, all that good stuff, all right? So, yeah, man, you got that for the NFL. You got the Combine coming up, and then you got the new league year and stuff like that after free agency. Free agency kicks off March 11th through March 13th, the 13th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All that legal tampering period that they got going on, those stuff can become valid, right? And so, look, new calendar year for the NFL, March 13th, and then after that, we got the draft, and then we get into 49er football. After that, the draft, and then the schedule release in May, and then it's OTAs, baby. All right, so I just wanted to give you guys some NFL stuff that's going to be going down real quick, man. Like, time is flying. You know what I mean? It's like flying out there. All right, let's go with the 49ers news, man. It was really, really good to hear that Dre Greenlaw surgery was successful. Greenlaw surgery was successful, and I do want to touch, which is good because, with the Achilles injury, if the surgery was successful, it's February, so March. Now, I heard that this was like a 3 to 6 month type of recovery return type of thing. So let's just go with 6. Let's go with 6 to 8. Right. Let's just go with 6 to 8. Let's just go with 6 to 8. 6 to 8. So you got March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, possibly for Greenlaw. So maybe we get some Greenlaw back. I'm expecting a speedy recovery for him. I just think he's going to come back more explosive now. How ironic, though. What's going on, Paul? This is things that make you go, right? How ironic was it that Dre Greenlaw was dealing with like an Achilles injury? He was cleared and good to go, had the rest, and then his Achilles went pop in the Super Bowl. It's unfortunate, freakish event. It's just crazy, like, like that happened in that manner, right? But listen, we're wishing him a speedy recovery. I think Dre Greenlaw is going to be just fine. And let's say he comes back, October, November, hell, playoffs. I'm good. Then he comes back and redeems himself. Dre Greenlaw is on the last year of his contract now. If he doesn't play all year, I'm curious to see how that works out. Ty, these weren't my words, but that was definitely my look, my brother. Bam, bam. Like we just gave each other dap. Bah, 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 right? That's crazy. Like it just hit me. It just hit me. It just hit me. All right, so weren't my words though, but definitely my thoughts. Leave me alone, Kylie. I ain't trying to make up nothing. I'm just trying to tell you. It's about the salary cap. The Niners, $570K right now, almost $572K. We all know that is not the number, okay? But they will have to make sure that they're underneath the cap by that March 13th date when that new league year starts. They have 22 free agents that will come off the books. And then they got that top 51 number that they got to get right. Now, look, we have to prepare ourselves for the inevitable. Or in my opinion, prepare yourself for the worst case scenario. God dang it. Like that's what you have to prepare yourself for. That's me. That's who I am. I'm always going to prepare myself for the worst case scenario. Look, I know that Brandon Ayuk is $14.1 million in the fifth-year option, but I know, I know that we were in this situation like a few years back. I ain't going to mention nobody's name, but there was a certain defensive lineman that the Niners said that they were going to pay, and then they traded him right before the draft. Now, I'm going to be writing an article about trading Brandon Ayuk. Would it hurt the Niners or help the Niners? And so I'm going to give my pros and cons. I'm leaving it wide open. I'm not even asking you guys that question today. But just be mindful that there's a possibility Brandon Ayuk may not be a 49er. And it's a realistic possibility. Number one, it frees up tons of money, and it's going to give them draft capital. So you look at that, like, it's just crazy to think that a 1,000-yard, back-to-back 1,000-yard wide receiver won't be on this team. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that. And it's not what WayneBreezie wants. I just feel like there's a possibility. And I don't want anybody to get upset, because if it happens, it's going to happen, and then we'll have to move on and figure it out. But I brought that up because I started to think about the stuff that was transpiring throughout the regular season, and I said to myself, well, why the hell was Ronnie Bell spelling Brandon Ayuk? It's the only person he would come in for. It's crazy. Not saying he's going to replace him. Not saying he can run routes and get open and do it. Nope. Not saying any of that. I'm just saying stuff starting to add up to me. Stuff starting to add up. Okay? And so I don't know. Lynch, wait, I like this, Fernando. He says, example, we all, oh my God. I love when my brothers and sisters out there just kind of like can give me exactly what I'll be thinking stuff, and then they just complete my sentences and thoughts and stuff like that. 49ers_ throwback says, example, we all thought Buckner would stay, and he didn't. Lynch said he would be a Niner for life. Lynch also said that Brandon Ayuk, they're going to work diligently to get his behind back here. I just believe, and I believe it until I don't, until it doesn't happen. So it's a possibility. All I'm saying is be prepared. The Niners don't have a lot of money. They're going to have to restructure some deals. They can start by trading a deal off the books. The question is, what team is going to want to take on the $14 million deal, and which team is going to have that extension right away? Because that's what you're going to have to do. There's a lot of teams, I think, out there that might want to do that. And so, we'll see what happens. But as of right now, Brandon Ayuk ain't going nowhere. Sacktown says he will replace Ray Ray. No, he won't. Nah, he's not going to do what Ray Ray did. I think he's more of a wide receiver than Ray Ray, and not a flashy, quick cut. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. He ain't gonna be running the ball out of the backfield, I can tell you that. But I think he can run certain routes, and I think he can get open down the field as far as separation. And I think that was one of the chances why they kind of shelved him. They didn't need him. Snoopy says, "Hey, your thought since you brought why Bell was in, why was Conley in and McLeod in? So Conley was in to help stretch the field, and then you notice what they stopped doing with Conley. They started stretching the field with him east and west. I don't know if you started to see, instead of Conley used to usually be in the game because he's a speedy guy. He would take the top off the defense and just run his defenders out of the play to open up the underneath routes, right? And then all of a sudden, they started using him east and west. And so he's a free agent. McLeod's a free agent. McLeod did some of that as well. McLeod was more of a gimmick guy. And I couldn't figure out why they didn't use him like that. Like, I can't figure out stuff with Kyle Shanahan, bro. Like, I don't understand it. Like, you got guys that are gimmick guys that just got to make one person miss, and we didn't use them like that. I didn't even think that they used mother freaking, Deebo Samuel properly in the Super Bowl. Like I didn't. Now, Kali says, trade our most durable receiver who has the best chemistry with Brock. It doesn't make it, and I know you're being facetious. It doesn't make any sense in that sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You're 100% correct, fam. It doesn't make any sense in that state of mind. But when you're looking at it from a business aspect and not a football aspect, more of a business, like, yo, I could get possibly 2 first-rounders for BA, definitely a first-rounder. If you add in and try to get something back, you might be able to get a player back that can fill another position, depending on the contract. Like, it's just weird, right? And so, Kylie, I don't want that to happen. I know people are going to be like, oh, now WayneBreezie wants that to happen. Let's talk about this rumor real quick. Joey Bosa may get released or cut by the Chargers. And so now I have the question. I have the ultimate question for you out there listening. If you're out there listening, find a way to give me your answer. I'll make a poll for Spotify. And this is a stupid question, now that I think about it. But if it came down to money, would you bring in Joey Bosa, or would you bring back Chase Young? And I know it's a dumb question. One's going to cost way more than the other. One player is probably way better than the other. And one player is a lot healthier than the other. I'm just curious to know we need edge rushers. Got a bunch of free agents. We'll be talking about those soon. You need edge rushers, Joey Bosa or Chase Young. And when you look at it, it's got to be Bosa, right? It's got to be Bosa, right? NY to the Bay, you're 100% correct. I'm with you. I don't see BA not being here. I also didn't see DeForest Buckner not being here. They drafted him. They traded him. That's all I'm saying. Everybody's saying trade Debo. I don't think trading Debo is wise. A lot of people. Oh, okay. We got Hurricane says Bosa. Media says none because the announcers will Well, maybe the announcers will get it right. That's what I'm thinking. maybe they'll get it right. I don't know. This is a tough question for me. Me personally, I would go after Chase Young. And the reason why I would go after Chase Young, one, he's younger. Two, he'll be cheaper. And if we get the defensive coordinator that we know we need, you get what I'm saying? You get where I'm going with this? If we have that defensive coordinator in here, I guarantee you see a different Chase Young. Guarantee. We didn't even see the same Nick Bosa. So I don't know what the hell we thought we was going to get when we traded for Chase Young. Nick Bosa was different in 2023. So if he wasn't nowhere near what he was, there was no one that they could bring. We could have went and got Hassan Reddick, right? He's seeking a trade. We could have went and got him, and he wouldn't have worked in this defense. Well, maybe he would have because Steve Wilks likes to blitz. That would have been the only piece he's not a blitzer, but I don't know. I just feel like for some reason, Steve Wilks and edge rushers in his defense they're just different. I don't know how it worked in Carolina. I don't know how Burns and whoever he had at that time. I don't know how they made it work, but for some reason, they couldn't. It wasn't married, right? Kyle spoke about that. Like the secondary and the defensive front just wasn't together. They weren't in sync. It was weird. So I don't know. But it is what it is. It is what it is. For me, I would go after Chase Young mainly because you could probably get him on a 1-year deal, right? You could probably get him for one of those, I mean, come on, man. When you look at the way that the Niners do these contracts, man, they be like, yo, man, I'm going to pay you $8 million, but you can make like $100 million. We just sign you for 8, but you can make up to 100 if you do A, B to C, and then the Greek alphabet like that. And it can't be signing them contracts. I'd be like, damn. You know what I mean? So that's me. And that's not a shot at Joey Bosa. I would love to see Bosa and Bosa on the same team. I don't think you get the same Joey Bosa, though. Like, I don't think you get that first Joey Bosa, like, that was in the league tearing stuff up, man. He's a little different. He's a little older, just a little older. But that's me. But if you feel like, you go a different route, man, be my guest. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. It's time for the coaching carousel. Now, look. Don't be upset with what's going down. I put in Brian Flores as a candidate, and I understand, but I feel something's going to go down in Minnesota, and he's possibly going to be available. Just let me have that. Okay, but right, he is currently under contract with the Minnesota Vikings. Currently, but things can happen, and I just want to put that out there that things can happen. All right, so I created a little wheel, and I got 5 coaches that I think are going to be candidates. I got 3 outside guys, and I got 2 inside guys that are in the 49ers camp already. All right. So we got 3 outsides. I got 2 insides, and let's have some fun with this. All right. 3 outsides, 2 insides, and we'll get to the mock draft. All right. So when I'm looking at is the word on the streets, you got Mike Vrabel, you got Brandon Staley from the Chargers, former head coach. Mike Vrabel, former Tennessee Titans head coach. Niners did seek after him in the past. He declined in the past, but he's currently jobless, right? I like Brian Flores, and I'll tell you why I have him up here and why I think he would be perfect candidate. Nick Sorensen with the 49ers right now. And then you got Daniel Bullocks with the 49ers right now, the secondary coach. Okay, and so these are some guys that I think that the 49ers are probably going to be in on. Now, listen, if it was my dream, it would be Bill Belichick, but I know that's never, ever going to happen or whatnot. We know Bill Belichick's not going to come here and coach the defense, right, for San Francisco 49ers. So let's go through this wheel, and then I'll talk a little bit about each one of them. Now, some of these guys would have to make a serious change, and so I'll give a pro, I'll give a con, right? And so pro when it comes to Mike Vrabel, he's just a great nitty-gritty former head coach. The players love him. And I think that was one of the things that was missing from the 49ers, right? because we used to talk about Steve Wilks not being able coming down from the skybox, getting down onto the sideline, getting to his players' faces, getting into their ears, talking to them, being able to correct them right there on the field. Like, think that's Mike Vrabel. Like that is Mike Vrabel, former defensive linebacker for the New England Patriots. Dude was a problem or whatnot. And so, like, I just felt like he was a to me, he was a good head coach, and he just couldn't figure out that quarterback situation over in Tennessee. And we all know if you can't get the quarterback right, I mean, come on, man, it's almost impossible to like remain a head coach unless you're Kyle Shanahan. That's the only way. Only way you can remain a head coach is if you're Kyle Shanahan and not get the quarterback right 5 times, right? So that's it. But I like Mike Vrabel because I think that's what he would bring back to the 49ers defense. He's a former linebacker. This defense is built off linebackers. Remember what DeMeco Ryans was able to do his first season, second season with the 49ers. Like it was like the transition from Saleh to Ryan was perfect, right? And so that's kind of like where I'm going with this. I think Mike would do that. But here's the con. Mike would have to do one or two things. One, he would possibly change the system from 4-3 to 3-4 because that's what he's used to running. Or, he would change and he would just work with what he has and make the best out of, make the best 4-3 defense. Now, he played in a 4-3 defense when he was in New England, but just coaching since he's been a head coach, he's been having those 3-4 defensive fronts out there in Tennessee. So that's going to be interesting to see, you know what I mean, as far as, if he gets the job. Kyle Shanahan already spoke and said he wouldn't mind if things changed, but I think Kyle really wants things to stay the same. The team is built. Okay, the team is built. The 4-3 is set. The Y9 is set. The way that they draft the players, the speed, it's all set for the San Francisco 49ers. So so that would be his con. excuse me. Mike Vrabel. Let's get down to Nick Sorensen. All right. The coordinator, the passing game coordinator, I believe, of the San Francisco 49ers. Excuse me. And so when I look at Nick Sorensen, in-house guy, Niners like to go with their in-house players. Hell yeah, right? And then if he's a passing game coordinator for the 49ers, if he's a passing game for the 49ers, he should be pretty good against pass defenses since he's had to prepare for them, right? And so look, I think Nick Sorensen would be a good hire. I don't know if he's the guy I would go with over Daniel Bullocks. That's there as well, or maybe Johnny Holland. I don't know. I just think that the 49ers are going to go in-house with this opposed to out-house. But I do like Nick Sorensen. As far as any cons, he just doesn't have any defensive coordinating experience. So I don't see him like having that. I feel like that might hinder him a little bit. You might see some hiccups. But he has great coaches that surround him that they just got to do their job. He's just coordinating their job. He has experiences coordinating, but as far as being a defensive coordinator, that's something that, or things like that's a little tough. You know what I'm saying? But, those are pros and cons for my man Nick. Let's go with, all right, the big Staley. All right, Brandon Staley. All right, let's go with Brandon Staley. Listen, man, as a head coach, he's trash. As a coordinator, he was pretty damn good as a coordinator. Now, look, Brandon Staley's another 3-4 guy. I'm not sure. But to me, I feel like Staley would be able to make the best out of a 4-3. Okay, I feel like he'll be able to make the best out of a 4-3, and that would be a pro for him. Even though like his con, he's a 3-4 guy. But listen, I think he has that mind to know his personnel, know his players, and put them in the best situation. Jason got me cracking up. I can't laugh because it don't sound right. Okay, all right, leave me alone. Like, oh, the Windex from the thing? That's a mother freaking ad. Let me close this ad up. I can't take Jason. You looking too hard, dog. You looking too hard. Like that's ridiculous. All right, but listen, I do like. I like Brandon Staley. Not my number one choice. My number one choice is gonna be Mike Vrabel because I just like tough head coaches. I feel like players respond well to that, and that's just kind of like who I like. And I think the players like that, opposed to more of the laid back guys. Brandon Staley, though, I think would be a good candidate. He's a great candidate. There's some interest and stuff going in there and things like that. But again, he, in Los Angeles, as a Chargers, they ran a 3-4 as well. But here's what's interesting. Oh, shoot. If Brandon, if Brandon Staley is hired as the 49ers defensive coordinator, guys, Joey Bosa is going to be a 49er. I just want to put that out there. Corey Soto, man, thank you for the super chat contribution, man. I appreciate it. First super chat contribution, like really in the off season. Like the off season is finally kicked off. He says someone inside will have no power to assume full control of their unit. Kyle should hire the best available defensive coordinator and distribute the power. That's a leader. You know what, Corey? You're a leader. Because that was the bomb. That was the bomb. He tried that, though, Corey. He tried, my man. He tried. He brought in Steve Wilks. He trusted Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks let him down, my man. Come on, bruh. That's what happened. Now, I'm not saying Steve Wilks was the best candidate, but he tried the outside. I'm a little worried that Kyle not going to go outside again. And it's crazy because it's not like Steve Wilks was a failure. Steve Wilks wasn't a failure, right? I don't think he was. Steve Wilks wasn't a failure. I just feel like he ain't fit. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't a failure. He didn't fit. The defense was top 5. Overall, defense was top 10. But in certain categories, they were top 5. Top 5 in scoring. Top 5 in top 1 in interceptions. They were top. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Nick says we can't afford Joey the Nose. Ooh. I didn't say that. Corey says, but he did give Wilks control. He forced him to do what he did after. Come on, guy. He did that after the Minnesota Vikings game. So let's not act like Wilks didn't have control. It was that I'm telling you, I don't know why Kyle is scared of the all-out blitz, but after that game, I don't know, Corey, if you saw it the way I saw it, but after that game, you saw Kyle change. It was after that game, and then it was like micromanaging. That's at least that's what I got. You might be right. I'm not saying you wrong. I'm just telling you kind of like what I got. Now Wilks couldn't figure out the run defense to save his life, and I think that's the issue. That's the main issue. All right, we got 2 more candidates we want to get to real quickly before we start this mock draft. Daniel Bucks. Secondary coach for the Niners. Look, man, like I like that the secondary got better. I like that they got stronger under the influence and the direction of Steve Wilks, the coordinator. I think Daniel Bullock's got something like, he gained a lot being under a secondary type of a coordinator or a coach. And I think I can see him getting this job. I can see him still getting these young players to play on a different level. It's like all pro or nothing for him, and I like that. Like, right, getting these guys to all pro. It wasn't just Steve Wilks. Wilks has been with us for a minute, and so I like that he's still here. And to me, if I had to go internally, he would be my number one guy. Like, he would be the guy that I think that we should go with if we're gonna go internally. Okay, and so Daniel Bullocks, I mean, other than not having any type of coordinating experience, I mean, D'Amico Ryans didn't have coordinating experience. And so, like, you got to give those guys a shot. And I think Kyle just trusts the people in house more than he trusts people outside the house. And I think he'll trust his coordinator a lot more. Okay. And that's just me personally. That's kind of like what I think. All right. And as far as Brian Flores, we know he's under contract with the Minnesota Vikings, but this dude is hybrid. He runs a 3-4, but he has a lot of 4-3 concepts mixed in to where his defense is able to flip the script. They're able to change personnel, which would be dope because now we get back to we got a super chat that's about to pop that just popped up. We get back to kind of like when the Niners played in the 3-4. Last time we were in the 3-4 was under Vic Fangio, right? And so my brother Sean with the super chat contribution. Thank you, Sean, man. Appreciate you. He says, Vrabel and Belichick are the only ones that will run 3-4. The Niners were 3-4 from Walsh until 93 or 94. Then with Fangio, it's too light against the run. Don't like bringing guys in that run. Waste of time. Right. And so, like, now you got more linebackers on the field opposed to the big dudes up front. So you go from 4 defensive linemen to 3 defensive linemen. You go 4 linebackers. But it can work. I think it can work. I thought the Niners were pretty good against the run when they had the 3-4 with Vic Fangio, under Vic Fangio. Now, I'm not saying that the Niners would go to a 3-4, but how crazy if they would be able to switch their front, and that's what the Patriots did all season long. They can go 3-4, 4-3, right? And so they just had the right personnel. Patriots were really good against the run, but you definitely going to get after the quarterback. You know what I mean? So, like, you now you got to, but you got to change your up front. I think the key to the 3-4 is the nose tackle. If you got one guy that could soak up, 2 of them blocks, 2 of them linemen, you know what I'm saying, and allow those linebackers to fill those gaps. Now you're talking, but now you got to draft totally different. You know what I mean? As well. But no, Sean, they do run, but they run the 3-4 as well. Like, if I'm not mistaken, the New England Patriots had a 3-4 or 4-3 front. It's the same thing with Brian Flores. It's kind of like why I like these guys. And I think that's kind of what this kind of dope because now just pay attention. Whoever comes in, and they might change up in the draft, and don't be mad if they go after a guy like Tavon Sweat out of mother freaking Texas, and now you like, damn, who this big dude as a defensive tackle, and they start to change things up. I'm just saying, like, things can happen. Like, things can happen. So, Sean, thank you for the super chat contributions. I appreciate it. But all these candidates are going to be dope. We don't know who is going to be. The question is, who should be the guy? And we don't know. Like, we don't know. I personally think that they're going to go internally. I think that probably be the safest route for the San Francisco 49ers. I think. Let me ask you this. Do you feel Kyle trusted D'Amico Ryans? Just curious, because I thought he did. But there were times D'Amico would give up big plays, explosive plays. And head coaches are always going to have some type of veto power or whatever like that. Like, they're always going to have some type of veto power. I said, Kyle Lee, be surprised if we switch. And all of a sudden, they go after a big guy in the middle like Tavon Sweat out of Texas. That means they switch into this 3-4 because that's a big monster. And that dude is nice. Oh, God. So I'm at the Senior Bowl. Like, whoa, that's a big guy. So they would have to definitely change their personnel up front. They would have to get a guy, you know what I'm saying, like that. So, good. I want to do one more thing. It's Mock Draft Monday. And I want to get into this mock draft. Now, look, I feel like the San Francisco 49ers, and I see the poll question going on. It's a tie right now between Mike Vrabel and other. Ooh, we're going to let that rock out to the end of the show. But right now, it's a tie between Mike Vrabel and other, okay? That's kind of like what it is, all right? So, let's go ahead and get this joint popping up, man. It's the first official mock draft of the season. Oh, yeah, baby. first official mock draft of the season. Now, again, we are going to be making sure. Let me go ahead and get this a little enlarged a little bit. We're only going to do 3 rounds. I'm not going to be here all damn day sitting there trying to figure out how to get this. But look, the Niners need offensive linemen. And a lot of people feel like the San Francisco 49ers need to go after a tackle first and foremost. And I don't disagree. I'm not going to disagree with that. You guys feel like we should go after a tackle? We go after a tackle. I agree with that. Now, it depends on who's available, though. I'm not going to just draft a tackle. But for this show's sake, I'll draft a tackle. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down each one of the draft picks on the Patreon. So you're going to get different episodes on the Patreon where I'll break down the draft pick, why I'm going to talk about these guys, what's good about these guys. I'll have some film stuff clipped up for you guys. So if you want to join the Patreon, it's www.patreon.com/WayneBreezie. Go ahead and do so. All right, then you'll get a chance to watch some of the breakdown film of these players that we actually get a chance to, draft in this particular situation right now that we got going on here. So let's slow this down just a little bit, and so we can see. Now the Niners pick 31st, and we talked earlier in the show about Brandon Ayuk not possibly getting traded. I was thinking about trading Brandon Ayuk. I just want to entertain it just a little bit. Don't be mad at me. But I'm looking at a couple of teams. Now let me make this clear. The only way I would trade Brandon Ayuk, ladies and gentlemen, only way is if I get a top 4 pick. That's it. So as far as I'm going with it. And that's only because the only way I'm trading Brandon Ayuk is if I'm drafting Marvin Harrison. I care less about a lineman. If I'm drafting top 4, I'm moving up. I can tell you right now, Arizona not trading with us, so that ain't gonna happen. That's a good question. I wonder if Arizona would trade. Nah, that's not gonna happen. But it's the only way you could get me to do that. Other than that, it's not happening. Top 15. That's the only. I said the only way I would do it. Now look, there's no way I'm gonna get a top 4 pick. I'm looking at you got Chicago, you got the Commanders, you got New England, you got the Cardinals right there. And I just don't see them wanting to do something like that. Let me blow this up a little bit more so I can. There we go. I think now we can see a lot better. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start this draft. No trades on this one. We'll have some fun with it. But I did do one where I traded Brandon Ayuk. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was ridiculous. I was like, oh yes. But the only way I'm doing it is if I could draft this kid named Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm gonna make sure I put the junior behind his name. All right, let's go ahead and start this draft for the San Francisco 49ers. Make sure you guys can see this. All right, here we go. And I know all my players are going to be taken off this draft board by the time it gets to me because we just picked 31st and we just going to be sitting there. All right, we just going to be sitting there. Now again, I like I do like some of the players that are still going to be available. All right, so I got to make this smaller because you know what? Let me just stretch this out. There we go. Now, so my favorite player, my favorite tackle in this draft is on the board. His name is Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. I'll go ahead and break him down a little something. I don't give a care what his stats say in this none of this matters to me because I watched him play against all-stars. So when I watch you play against the best of the best, you know what I'm saying? Like that that stands out to me. But there's a couple of tackles right here. Let's see. There's 3 tackles that I'm looking at right now. Tyler Guyton, Jordan Morgan from Arizona, and I like this kid out of Yale. Let me tell you a little bit about this kid out of Yale. I'll break him down, I think, on the Patreon. He's a left tackle. This dude is like 331 pounds, and he's a monster. Now, I know he played for Yale, but that means you're going to get a smart dude. All right, you're going to get a smart dude. Here's his biggest flaw. He plays with too much aggression. That's his biggest flaw. He plays with too much aggression. I don't know if you can get personal fouls like that as an offensive lineman, but damn, he is available at 62. We pick again at 63. I like Jordan Morgan. I like Jordan Morgan. Tyler Guyton played left tackle, but he played right tackle at the Senior Bowl, and no one got by this dude in his one-on-ones. I think he got beat one time in 3 days. That's ridiculous. Jordan Morgan started at right tackle for Arizona, so he might be the better prospect, like to jump in right now. But they had Tyler Guyton working out. That's my guy. I got to go with Tyler Guyton at the tackle spot, man. I'm going with Tyler Guyton. I'm sorry if I offended everybody. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. But the kid from Yale, if he's still available at 63, his ass is about to be a 49er, and they just got to put somebody on the books like for a year. Uh-oh. I never seen this coming. I did not see this coming. Okay, so let me talk a little bit more about him because I have this infatuation with Kyron. All right. So, yeah, man, he's a power dude, but he's quick, and he's best in his run game. He's still a great pass blocker, but the dude got feet. He can move. I can't wait to see what he does at the NFL Combine. I can't wait to see what he does at the NFL Combine. And so that right there is going to be something to pay attention to, all right? Now, look, I already addressed the tackle. I do want to look at guards. And there's two guards right here that I will break down as well. My center is gone. There's 3 guards that I actually like. Cooper Beebe is another dude out of Kansas State. I don't want a chance to say that he'll be available in the 3rd round. But I can absolutely do that. There's 3 guys that I like. And so I definitely think that the 49ers need to address the cornerback position. And I've watched this kid Jerry Jones play. I think the Niners need a straight up and I know we shouldn't draft a nickelback. Man, can you imagine just having the best damn nickelback? There's 3 guys that I like right here screaming off the top. Jerry Jones, when you look at this kid, man, he can cover. He's good in run defense. You could see his numbers just stand out, right? You can see his numbers. He's mainly a slot, but he played outside the previous 2 years. He played in the slot. And so for me, he's the best prospect. If I had to go with my second guy, would be Chris Abrams-Drain, another kid that I got a chance to talk to. This kid is a problem as well. When you look at his coverage grade, struggles against the run. He struggled against the run last year, but he's a cover dude on the outside. I don't know if the Niners would go with a guy that predominantly is on an outside when they can get the outside guy that can play inside as well. I'm going to go with Jerry Jones right here as my pick. And then when we get to 94, 98, we got 2 picks in the 3rd round. Let's see if we can go back and address that offensive line again. Because I think we need defensive guys, but I think we really need to bolster up this offensive line. My boy Braden Fisk was available too, and I didn't go Braden Fisk. I feel pissed. All right, so look. Oh, sugar snaps. Ain't no way they gone. Oh, heck nah. I knew it. I always say, oh, they're going to be available. Oh, they're going to be available. Oh, they're going to be available. And then then they're not available. Now, I like Cooper Beebe. I love Zach Zinter. Who will be the better fit for the San Francisco 49ers? Now, they're different, right? So one's definitely better when it comes to zone blocking. We know that the Niners are a zone team. We know that they like to run zone scheme, zone run, zone outside zone. Then they switch to the power to the inside, things like that. The Niners have been changing up a little bit. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the offense, but they've been doing a lot of power runs as well as the tosses and stuff still to the outside where they can go east and west. But they've been doing a lot of power runs lately. I'm curious to know if I'm going to go with, if the Niners, and I'm not saying that they're switching to power, I'm just saying that the Niners are definitely doing a lot of inside power gap runs. If they're going to do that, you got to go Zach Zinter, because when you watch, now listen, I do want to put this out there. Zach he is recovering from an ACL injury. Okay, he's recovering from the injury. So is he injured? No. Is he coming returning from an injury? Yes. But this is the third round. It's a compensatory pick. And shit, the Niners, they both available. You get both of them, right? But Michigan is not just a power team, because if you watch Michigan, they do run that pro style offense, but they run a lot of outside zone running as well. So I'm curious to see, like, if he's going to still be available. I think they could get him later. But when I look at Cooper Beebe, man, this dude is nice. Nice. I know it's a reach to go ahead and get one of those dudes. I know there's a reach. But you got to go guard here. My centers are gone, but there is a center that I like. I know you could get a little bit later in this draft. So let's go with a guard. Let's go with Cooper. All right, because everybody think I'm a Michigan fan. I'm gonna go with Zach. I think when it comes to Zach, though, he's gonna shore your run game. But we'll go with Cooper Beebe right there. Now we've addressed, I think, 3 needs for the 49ers. I know that they're going to need a linebacker. I know they're going to need a running back. They're going to need a tight end. There's a bunch of players that they're going to need. Let's just see if there are any people that I would reach on after meeting them and watching them play live. I'm going to wide receiver position. I do want to see if my man is there, and he is. So, like, when I look at 49ers, I think that they like to draft guys that are like wild cards, meaning that you can use them in multiple ways. They have some type of versatility. Meeting Luke McCaffrey, watching Luke McCaffrey just win day after day after day at the Senior Bowl. I know he's ranked 175th, and he's projected to go like 157th, which is a little bit later on in his draft. But I think the 49ers will reach. They've reached for players before, players that they feel like will come in and fit your scheme. And this is not, I want to see a brother play with a brother type of thing, even though that is what I want to see. But man, I'm telling you right now, Luke McCaffrey doesn't come in and replace anybody. He's a new somebody that Kyle Shanahan would be able to work into the mix of his offensive artillery. All right. So when you look at Luke McCaffrey, he only played 1 year at wide receiver. You know what else he played? Quarterback. That makes him the smartest man on the football field. Now, I know the grade might be low. I don't really care about the grade, but I think the San Francisco 49ers just got tough. And they're going to give me an F for the Luke McCaffrey and a D- because I drafted those guys way out of their draft position. But you see, I got the A on that first pick, which is what matters the most. They didn't like my second round pick as much, but the Niners just got a lockdown guy in the slot. On top of that, if you need him to play outside, which is good, so now you can continue to mix this kid up and Diamador up outside, inside, depending on like the matchups. So I think that's pretty cool for me. I really wanted to go Zach Zenner over Cooper Beebe. That's who I should have went with, but I didn't. I went with Cooper Beebe because I think since the Niners are a zone run team, he fits the zone run better than Zach Zenner. But the Niners like power. They've proved it this year. They like to run power. They like to run inside. We watch Christian McCaffrey inside. And it's not just about running inside. It's about having your man move these motherfrickers, right? Move some of them defensive linemen. What did the Kansas City Chiefs do? Slant. They slanted like all damn game, like to where the Niners offensive line just couldn't do anything. They got beat up, right? Boom. Now, that's my mock draft for today. Now, listen, I'm going to do this every Monday. All right, every Monday I'm going to do this. It's going to change up. You're going to start seeing players practice, and the combine is going to change things up a little bit. But I definitely wanted to focus on getting offensive linemen first, and we'll see what happens next week. Will Tyler Guyton be available? I might have to go a different route, like drafting the kid from Arizona, opposed to, you know what I'm saying? Or they might have my center. One time I did this mock draft, and my center was available. And I would tell you right now, if I'm a San Francisco 49er, I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers move up in the draft and draft Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon. I would not be surprised if they do that. And I tell you what, if they do that, it solves a lot of problems for the San Francisco 49ers offensive line. Because look, the Niners can upgrade their offensive line. They can draft these players from on the offensive line, and yeah, they'll be better, but it starts at the center position. Is Jake Brendel going to be the guy that's going to take another leap? I felt like he took a leap backwards this year, opposed to what he did the first year he started, right? If you get Jackson Powers Johnson, listen, I'm telling you right now, the Niners would upgrade to another level, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go after a couple of the young studs on that offensive front. Now you can go get a Zach Zenner and things like that, and now you just beef up that offensive line. But starting with that center, man, that's where it starts with Kyle Shanahan. Always has, always will. Listen, we'll be back on today, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No harm, no foul with my boy Mike Nice. All right, make sure you guys tune in. I love y'all. Stay up, man. Stay faithful. It's a long off season, man. Thanks for watching. Peace.